Alright, okay, I get it. Some people are determined to play 5e and nothing else, but are now in an awful internal conflict of wanting to both play their favourite game, but not wanting to support Wizards of the Coast and their parent company Hasbro, because of all the various awful things they've done and continue to do, and just their absolutely horrid treatment of the game. So this video is for you, because seriously, dude, look at this. I know y'all don't want to support this. Now, I don't think 5e or 5.5e is a bad game. In fact, I think it's absolutely fine. And still dabble in the occasional 5e game. It excels at a comfortable level of crunch, giving the war game and a role-playing trenchcoat vibe, being plenty flexible, letting you use plenty of different die, and having a decent amount of character options to make for fun and diverse characters. But as we said, the major downside is giving money to a company that treats you, the game, and the staff poorly. I want to be able to just make some characters with friends and play some good old role-playing games, but Hasbro and WoTC have other plans, like trying to make it into Fortnite of all things. Basically, they will do what modern AAA gaming has done to their video games: tear out the innards, sell you the shell at ever-increasing prices, and then occasionally let you buy the rotten entrails of what once was. So if that's how they're gonna be, it's only fair we fight fire with fire and play their damn game without giving them a penny. I'm going to be very clear now. There is zero piracy happening in this video, nor do I encourage it. Everything I'm about to tell you is 100% legit, and in fact will support smaller and indie creators. Our first stop is, funnily enough, over at D&D Beyond, where we'll be nabbing the System Reference Document, or SRD. This is a handy-dandy document filled with the core rules of Dungeons & Dragons, including how to play all the usual situations, all the base classes, a subclass for each class, and then a healthy smattering of creatures to fight. With this, we have rules, but sadly, no adventures, and frankly, only the very bare-bone character options. This is where we move on to the very obvious to some method of expanding what we can do, whilst keeping our wallets far from Hasbro's clutches. Third-party creators. Yes, ever since the dawn of the TTRPG, people have been homebrewing and making their own assets and adventures, and this is a video where I'll finally be showing off a few of my choice picks and where to find them. First up, we have Mage Hand Press, who make some absolutely fantastic books to expand your character creation choices. If you want to recreate those high fantasy vibes the Forgotten Realms often gave, I'd highly recommend their book, Valda's Spire of Secrets. Not only does it give you a ton of extremely fun new classes and subclasses for existing classes, they also provide a lot of new species to play as, new feats, spells, magical items, and completely new rules that expand on what the SRD provides. They do also offer free versions of each class on their website, and then each class also has its own book providing a huge number of subclasses and gubbins, further expanding what you have. And if fantasy isn't what you're looking for, I also suggest another big book they have, Dark Matter, a complete sci-fi conversion of the 5e format, giving all the base and their own classes, more sci-fi themed options, as well as yet more alien species to play as, and lots of fun new rules, mechanics and skills. My personal fave being their really fun space combat, with a huge variety of different ships, including some straight up mech suits. You're going to be in for a great time. Now, these of course are mostly just character options, and understandably, not everyone has the time nor desire to write their own adventures and campaigns. Thankfully, third-party creators once again have us covered from one-shots to full-blown campaigns in any kind of setting you can imagine. Another larger creator I'd recommend would be Kobold Press, because I like their funny name. But also they too have a massive catalogue of character options, adventures and settings, ranging from big to small, and everything you could need to get those good times rolling. I'll also take this as a chance to briefly talk about Project Black Flag, or as it's now known as, Tales of the Valiant. Back during the OGL scandal from a few years back, which I did do a video on way back in the day on my now archived channel, but TLDR, Wizards of the Coast mucked up their new third-party licensing agreement, causing lots of people to jump ship. Kobold Press at the time decided enough was enough, they'd make their own version of 5e, and that led to Tales of the Valiant. And well, it's kinda like a more advanced version of 5e. They added more rules and crunch to the game whilst having a focus on keeping things still compatible with 5e, so you could mix and match the various options between them. And personally, I think that may have been a misstep. I believe they actually hampered their own design by doing this. But I digress. I won't go super into detail on this, but it's a bit of a mixed bag in my opinion. You might end up really enjoying it, but for me with the added crunch, I'd rather just play Pathfinder, but that's just my personal preference, and I'd still absolutely recommend checking it out. Now, I'm using Kobold Press as a main example for adventures here, because whilst both groups mentioned so far do provide both adventures and character options aplenty, Kobold Press has this really fun and useful adventure search tool, letting you browse all their variety of adventures with a good selection of filters to hone in on what you're looking for. You can also search based on different authors, so if you really want to see more from a specific author, you can find their entire catalogue on there. Their website also has a built-in encounter builder, letting you create from their entire catalogue of combative creatures. That also includes sources from outside of Kobold Press to make your life as a GM so much easier. Now, those are two of the more established creators for third-party content, and this is where before I'd normally be like, wow, check out DM's Guild and Drive-Thru RPG, for so many cool new options and adventures written by a hugely diverse amount of people. And they do still have those, but frankly I have a hard time recommending these sites anymore due to the sheer amount of AI slop now infesting the platforms. It was really sad to see, as when I was primarily playing 5e, I got so many cool classes and options from there. But I'm really excited to tell you about RPG Traders, a fairly new storefront created by 10 Acre Games, and they have made an absolutely delightful website. First, huge props to this website actually functioning smoothly and efficiently. I know that seems like a low bar, but with how much vibe-coded broken messes are out there now, it's just nice. They have made a storefront that claims and appears to be creative first, and I'm excited to see it grow. It's super easy to find third-party options for existing games, as well as whole new complete systems made by a huge variety of creators. So if you finally feel you're ready to dip your toes outside of the 5e pool, there is a wonderful world of creativity ready to receive you. Also, a quick look, and they have a very clear anti-AI policy, which is fantastic, and I hope they continue to actively enforce it. And because I feel it's unfair to only really cover the conversions I've played properly, when there are plenty of others out there, so whilst I can't give my usual first-hand opinions, here's a rapid-fire round of a few more that may pique your interest. Grim Hollow from Ghostfire Gaming if you're into some dark fantasy. Odyssey of the Dragon Lords from Modifius Entertainment. Humblewood, where everyone plays as adorable little forest creatures going on big adventures. Neon Odyssey, a not yet released retro nostalgia themed space opera setting by Legends of Adventurous. 2099 Wasteland from Legendary Games, a post-apocalyptic romp through 5e adventures. And of course, Taldore by Darrington Press, because again, I know some of y'all want to do your own versions of Critical Role. And there's loads more out there, but these are just the ones I've either used a little or had suggested by friends, and maybe one day I'll do a follow-up video going into even more third-party content if people are interested in that. But if you need help trying to nail down a new system for you and your group, I'd highly recommend the ever-growing reviews by this one channel, Devour the Details. Hey, it's the end of the video, I'm allowed to plug as shamelessly as I like. If you found this video helpful or want to share your fave third-party works, let me know down in the comments below, and let's support some rad writers, designers and artists. And if you've enjoyed it and want to see more from me, feel free to like this video, subscribe and hit that bell to stay up to date with all my latest videos and projects. Thanks for watching. I've been Devour, and I'll see you next time. Happy adventuring.